Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another recap video. Well, this week was a difficult trading week for me. Probably one of my worst trading weeks for a few months. So I'll just kind of recap everything and talk you through the trades that did set up, right? I wouldn't worry to go through trades that didn't set up. I'll just go through trades that I actually did take. Alright, so actually this should be green because I took a trade on GBPUSD. Yep, okay. Alright, so first trade for the week was this AUDJPY. It was taken on a 15-minute time frame, long position. This was a break-even trade. Simple stuff, daily on H4. In an uptrend on the 1 hour, price broke past previous highs, has come back to retest. Entry. There. Every week. Right, entry on the 15-minute time frame, move stops to break even at around 2 hour, and position was stopped at break even. Right, so I'll just show you this trade at the time of entry. So this was the kind of level I was looking at. Price dipped beneath, pushed back above, came back, retested. Then I was looking to get long, right? And then you can see here on this screenshot. So you know, price did push nicely, but then it came back, and you know, once price kind of got to these previous highs, I moved my stops to break even, and then price came back and took me out at break even. So if I just jump to AUDJPY, yep, AUDJPY. All right, so this was that first trade just here. All right, so I'll just jump to the 15 minutes, right here. Okay, and there was also some, I believe there was some divergence on this as well, right? So you had price making higher lows, whereas you had on the RSI making lower lows, right? So some nice hidden divergence setting up there. So that was pretty much a trade. You know, price broke above, came back, tested the level a few times. You know, it kind of failed to bounce, but once it kind of dipped beneath, I figured, all right, it would have probably found enough orders just then. It did push higher, came back, gave me the retest I wanted, which is where I entered. And then, you know, it tried to go, but it didn't have the legs, right? Instead, it had to kind of dip further beneath the level, right? So even further than it dipped before. And then that's where it found the orders that it needed, and that was the move I was kind of looking for, right? But unfortunately, I wasn't part of this. I didn't catch this move. It would have been nice, but I wasn't part of that move. Anyway, so that was the first trade of the week. It resulted in a break even. Second trade of the week was here on EURUSD. It was a 1 hour. It was taken on the 1 hour time frame. It was a long position. It was price set up as forecasted. I think I forecasted it in the Outlook video last week. All right, so price broke above the previous daily high after multiple rejection on the H1 on the H1 of the level, right? So this was the trade at the time of entry. All right, so we had these previous highs here that were broken. Price pushed up, came back, retested. I think these were the highs I was looking at, these highs just here. Came back, retested, lots of rejection. So I just entered here, stops right beneath the level, and I was just targeting a new high, right? And then this was the trade, I believe, at the time I closed it off. All right, so it pushed higher. Once I saw it kind of rejecting these previous highs just here, I just decided to move my stop on break even, and it was a good decision because it just spiked down, and you know, it continued a little bit lower. So I'll just talk you through the trade on the chart. So EURUSD, where are you? There you go. All right, so actually, let's make sure I get the right one. Yeah, this was it. Okay, I know I took 2 trades on EURUSD. All right, so it was here on the 1 hour time frame. So we had just jump here. Cool. All right, so we had price. Obviously, we've been in this massive uptrend for a while, right? You know, price has just been moving higher and higher and higher for a while. So my bias would be to the upside, looking for long positions. So we had price came up. So we had price come up, formed this high, it dipped beneath. Then we had price push higher, came back, retested with multiple rejections. So I was looking to just, this was the move I was looking for. Same sort of stuff as on AUDJPY, right? It had to kind of dip beneath the level to catch, you know, to kind of grab some orders to then push price higher, right? So it did make the move I wanted to see. For this first position, it didn't make the move, but unfortunately didn't do it from where I forecasted it, right? It tried to, but it didn't have the legs to continue up. Had to dip lower to grab some orders, and then you know, price did make the move. So unfortunately that trade didn't work out. All right, so the next trade, since we're on EURUSD, I can just talk through the second trade straight away. So I took another position here on EURUSD, right? So it was this setup here. So price did, all right, so let me just make sure, right? So this was where my first entry was, right here, right? And that's where it failed to take off. It dipped beneath, and then it made that move I was looking for. And then it came back to test the broken highs. Once it finally broke the highs, it came back and it retested it with multiple rejections, right? So I entered there, and this is when I closed the trade off. Right, so we had price bounce, and then it failed to kind of take off, right? And once I saw that kind of failure to launch, and it started to push deeper, I think I made my decision lower time frames to close it off. But this move lower was very impulsive, right? And once it started to kind of close inside of my zone without taking off, I just decided to play some defense and close the position off, which ended up being a very good decision, right? Because that would have resulted in a full stop. So yeah, you can see here, right? So break and retest of a H4 level after rejection, entered after some rejection on the 1 hour time frame, confluence with the 50% fib. Price initially moved in my favor, but then started to reject the previous structure. Every time, structure. Alright, reject the previous structure, played some defense here and moved my stops to break even and just close the position off, right? So since we're on the chart already, so same deal. I can just jump to the lower time frame to show you where I decided to close off. So we had, this is where I entered, right? Once we got that rejection here, I think it was after the second rejection, once it dipped back. And we had that initial move, right? Then you could see here on this candle, see how impulsive that was? It was a strong candle, then it dipped beneath the level, pushed back up, and then, you know, it kind of had this dip lower right here. So once I saw it fail to take off after this recovery, I just decided to close off once it came back to my entry. So yeah, so that was that trade. Oops. EURUSD. Cool. So those were the two EURUSD trades. And we had here on the third trade for the week was GBPCAD. So I think this says 1 hour, but I actually took this on the 30 minutes, I believe. Yeah, it was a 30-minute trade, right? So this should say 30 minutes. All right, cool. So this was GBPCAD long position taken on a 30-minute time frame. It was a hidden divergence setup. Price form hidden divergence after bouncing on the 30-minute 200 EMA and started rejecting. Momentum didn't have the legs to continue, and I was stopped out. So this was the trade at the time of entry. So we have here this gray line squiggly gray line, that's the 200 EMA on the 30-minute time frame. You could see here price made this low here and this low here, and you know, higher lows, but on the RSI and the stochastics we had that hidden divergence, right? It formed lower lows, and then price started to reject, and it was a nice clearly defined level, and I really thought this trade would have worked out, you know, but it unfortunately, as you can see here on the screenshot, it just didn't have the legs to continue, right? We just had that rejection, and then price just crashed lower, completely wiping out the stops and completely wiping out the level and the 200 EMA. So if we go to GBPCAD, I'll jump to the 30-minute time frame, and I'll just bring up the template. All right, so this is what I was looking at here. We had higher high on price. All right, nice. Sorry, higher low on price, and then we have here on the RSI, we had that lower low, right? Same on the stochastics, right? So, you know, it looked like a pretty good trade to me. We had this nice level here, multiple rejections as resistance, came down, tested as support once, bounced, came down, tested it twice. It kind of dipped beneath the level. I was hoping it, you know, found some orders to kind of push price higher together with that 200 EMA. But, you know, as you can see here, price just, you know, continued to crash lower. So unfortunately, you know, that trade didn't work out for me. So it was a full stop out on that one. Right. Next trade was AUDJPY. Right. This was it was also a hidden divergence setup. Right. So it was another crack at taking a long position on AUDJPY, similar to this position I spoke to earlier, just that this one is based off a slightly different entry criteria, right? So this was a trade here at the time of entering. So, you know, we had this level here being formed on a 30-minute time frame after some rejection. We had higher lows on price, massive divergence, hidden divergence here on both RSI and stochastic, right? And then this was a trade at the time of closing. So you could see here, you know, price just didn't have the legs to continue, right? Instead it just crashed lower. So as you can see here on my notes, I have it here as a no for a valid entry, and the reason why, well, I'll talk it through once we go to the chart, right? But same sort of entry, right? I believed it was hidden divergence being formed after bouncing at the minor H1 level. This setup was rushed. I should have waited for the hidden divergence to be confirmed. Trade was stopped out, right? So GBPCAD, it's actually AUDJPY, yes, AUDJPY. Right, so as you can see here, on AUDJPY, we have here, this is what I saw. We had this here, so we had this level here, we had this low, and what I believed would have been a low, right here, right? And then you can see here on the RSI, we had this clear sign of possible divergence, right? So it was probably at this point in time. Also on the stochastics, right? Now why I said this wasn't valid, in hindsight, you know, hindsight's always 20/20, but I should have waited for this to be a confirmed low, right? I didn't wait for this low to be confirmed. Instead, I assumed at the level it would bounce, it would show me some nice price action, and, you know, I just decided to kind of go ahead with the trade, right? But yeah, obviously it didn't work out. You know, price just continued to crash lower and crash massively lower, right? You know, kind of all the way back to this this daily level here, which is a little bit clearer on, if I just go to the forward time frame. All right, so it kind of had this level here that was being created, right? So that was that trade. And you can also see another trade here that was set up. I'll just talk through that trade straight away. So that was, where is it? This one, AUDJPY. So this was Nick, the guy that I followed. So, you know, entered after price started rejecting the previous daily and H4 highs. Move stops to break even once price pushed into 3R, and then price reversed and stopped at break even. So this was a trade at the time of entering. So you can see, well, actually it was a little bit later. So I entered here at this level, just down here. It's minor level, but you can see here this bigger zone here. That's the daily and H4 zone, right? So it rejected the level, started to push higher, and you know, we got a pretty decent move, right? And then so I moved my stops to break even. I didn't scale out any of the position, so you know, but once I moved my stops to break even, you can see here price just came back and took me out at break even, right? So I just jump back to the chart. So we have that H4 level there. Jump to the 15-minute time frame so you can see the entry. So this is the kind of area I was looking at, right? So you know, it did start to form some kind of bullish price action, as you can see here, right? Price rejected the level, bounce, started to kind of form this kind of consolidation, which on the lower time frames, like the 1 and 5 minutes, you probably see like a nice flag pattern here. And I was just hoping for it to continue, right? Probably back up to these previous broken lows just here. But you know, obviously that didn't happen. Price just continued to crash lower. But you know, I mean, this particular pair has been in a massive uptrend for a while, right? So you know, hopefully we'll get some good entries. I'll continue looking for kind of that bullish moves until, you know, price starts to form some clear bearish price action, right? So my bias on this will still be long in the weeks to come. All right, so those were those two AUDJPY trades. I spoke through this EURUSD trade, so EURNZD. This trade here, right? So this was taken on a 30-minute time frame. It was a short position. There's also a hidden divergence setup. All right, but again, this one I decided to close off a little bit early on break even because it wasn't valid as well, right? I was kind of rushing my entry with this particular trade, same as what I kind of did for AUDJPY, right? So I'll just show you the chart at the time of entering. All right, so here, you know, this wasn't, I mean, we had the lower highs being formed, right? But this wasn't confirmed just yet, right? Because we didn't start to see some clear bearish price action. But you could see here, it wasn't the clearest divergent setup as well, right? So it is higher, right? Just if by you can't really see it visually, but by the readings that are put out on the chart, you know, I think this was like a 75 and this might have been like 74 or something like that, right? So there was hidden divergence here, but plus we had that 200 EMA coming down as well. I just decided to kind of close it off. I believe I'll close it off almost straight away. If I take a look, yeah, it's the same screenshot pretty much, right? So I just decided to close it off and break even because to me it wasn't 100% valid, right? So I just jumped to the EURNZD. This one, 30-minute time frame, and then I'll just jump to that. Here you go, right? So as you can see, it was a good idea that I did close it off. We did kind of push, I think, I want to say, actually, 1 second. Yeah, okay. So this, I don't know why that's moved, because I think I want to say, let me just verify my actual entry, because I think I might have shifted that by accident. So it's 30-minute time frame, only 200 EMA. We had that bearish engulfer, so must have been here. There you go. All right, there. So that would have been my entry, right? So you can see here, I mean, obviously the trade did stop out, right? But we had it kind of test the level, had those rejections, we had that bearish engulfing candle, but we didn't actually have any bearish price action, right? It didn't show a clear entry signal. And as I mentioned, right, so we had that lower high, right? And then this is what I was looking at here. So this one read out 71.27, as you could see around this area, just here. So this high read 71.27, and then this high here read, oh yeah, so there, this is the one I was looking at. Yeah, this is one I was looking at, read 71.42, right? So it was ever that slightly higher on the RSI, and it wasn't the clearest, right? So that's why I just decided to close the position off. And as you can see here, it was a good decision to do so, right? Price just kind of continued to push up, tested the 200 as support, and then it kind of had that further push higher, right? So I was happy with this decision to close that one off early. So the next trade I spoke through, AUDJPY, GBPUSD. This one's still open. So it's a break and retest of a previous H4 level. So this trade is still currently running. Might be in a little bit of drawdown right now, but you can see here we had this H4 level, price push higher, came back, tested with 2 rejections, and I decided to enter, right? I'll just jump to the chart on here. It's GBPUSD, H4, and then blank. All right, so yeah, it's ever so slightly in that little bit of drawdown, but it actually closed beneath the level that I entered, right? So close off here on Friday just beneath the level after 3 rejection. You can see those 3 rejection candles on the H4. I mean, we'll see. Hopefully the trade does play out. I'm just targeting these previous highs here, and then I don't know, maybe further targets of this zone up here, right? But we'll see how it works out, if it actually works out or plays out. But yeah, I'm currently still holding that position. Then we have EURAUD, right? So this was a EURAUD short position. It was my trade pretty much. So all we had was price retracing to a significant set of previous daily lows. Showed lots of rejection on the lower time frame, but momentum was just too strong, right? And price continued to push higher, and you know, it was a full stop out. So just look at the charts here at the time of entry. All right, so we kind of had this nice level of structure just here. Price broke through, came back, and had that massive rejection wick just there, right? And then on the lower time frame, once it kind of pushed higher, there was tons of rejection around this area, right? And then this was the trade, I believe, at the time I closed it off. Oh, I guess when I was stopped out, right? So you know, price just continued to just spike higher, right? And it was a full stop out. It retested the trend line nice and precisely, and I did take another entry just up here, which you can see actually is the same trade, right? So this one's still open, right? So same trade as the AA above, so same entry. I'm sorry, same trade, right? Same logic, just based off a rejection of the trend line at this point, right? So it did push higher. We had the rejection at the level. It did break above my level, but there's also another level here, right? Which I'll show you. I'll show you on the chart. So I'll just jump to EURAUD right here. All right, so this trade's currently still at entry, right? So, but the other level that I was paying attention to was this level just here, right? So we have this level here. Right there, so we had nice support, came down, rejection, and then we had that nice move off of that level, right? So I'm just hoping we get that some sort of reaction again from the level, right? There's also, if you look on the lower time frames, right, so you can see lots of struggle around the area, lots of rejection. It came up once, came up twice, kind of hopefully forming this double top, right? And then, you know, I'm hoping that we start to see price just trickle down and move into some kind of profit next week, right? And I mean, I did take this position with bigger than usual stop loss, just to give price that extra room to breathe. If the price does start to move in my favor, then I'll look at scaling into this if it does start to kind of form that bearish price action. Right, so that was those 2 Euro AUD trades. And then the last trade for the week was CADJPY, which was also a full stop out, right? So we had break and retest of a H4 level, entered after some bullish structure started to form on the 15-minute time frame after some rejection, but price failed to bounce, right? And it's pretty much the same trade. I just entered slightly lower for this second entry, right? So this was the first trade. All right, so we had this H4 level here. In hindsight, I could have probably been a little bit cleaner with my level, right? And just wait for price to push deeper into the level. But I saw this price came into the level and started to reject, right? And then we had this bullish candle here and came back, showed me some rejection, and that's when I entered. Right, so I just really thought the price, I really thought it would reject the level and just start to push higher, right? But as you can see here, price just decided to crash deeper. All right, so and then here on the second chance entry, so this is where I entered again. So once price did actually push into the level and show that nice rejection candle just there. Right, I decided to enter again, and then price did actually push, but you know, it obviously stopped me out, right? So so CADJPY, so this was the setup here. So nice clean level just here, right? Well, if you look at the 1 hour time frame, right, so you could see here we had nice rejection. It started to bounce, it pushed higher and kind of came back into the level, right? It came back here, and this is where I entered after. I think I entered on a lower time frame, but it's based off of the 1 hour H4, right? And obviously, as you can see, price has just been in this uptrend for a while. So I was just looking to capitalize on some more, some more bullish moves. But unfortunately, didn't have the momentum to continue. It started to crack beneath the level, and obviously stopped out. All right. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. That wraps up the trading week and the trading month for me. You know, it's kind of weird, right? Like, this was in terms of return, right? So for the month, I had an entire return of 56, basically 56 R, right? 56.6 R, which in terms of return is my best trading month since I've started trading, right? Previously it was January, which I think I had something like 27 return, 27 R, and this month I kind of upped it, pretty much doubling it, right, to 56. So it was my best trading month in terms of return, but you know, it's also closed off by one of my worst trading weeks in a very, very long time, right? So what we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 break-even trades and 5 losses, and then we still have these 2 trades that are currently open. I mean, these 2 trades have the potential to kind of bring the week back into some kind of respective return. I don't know, maybe I might break even if the trades actually play out. But you know, as it stands right now, you know, I'm down on the week, right? Overall, I was very happy with the trading month. You know, pretty good month. You know, I did make some mistakes here, you know, in this week and last week. You know, I made some mistakes, rushing some entries, trying to force trades just that little bit, and ultimately, you know, kind of paid the price, right? So, you know, something to look at in the weeks and months to come. You know, as I say, nobody's perfect. You know, I try, you know, that's the whole reason I started the YouTube channel, right? To try to keep myself as accountable as I can. document my journey, document all the errors, you know, the good times and the bad times, right? So yeah, I'm hoping, you know, I can learn from the mistakes I made this week and let's push on to a nice strong recovery next week, right? As usual, you know, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. You know, obviously, if you like what you see, feel free to subscribe and join me on my trading journey, right? Cool. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow in the Outlook video. All right. See you later.